Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 o'clock here in New Vienna, Iowa. That means it's time for another live stream on December 3rd, 2020. Yeah, today's December 3rd. And it's a Thursday. That's the part that I definitely do remember because it's happy hour today. We made it almost to the end of the week. And to celebrate, I'm going to be drinking a new beer that I haven't had before. It's from Surly Brewing Company. It's their Warp Zone Pilsner. Pretty interesting. I'm a big fan of the Surly Brewing Company in general. And my wife picked up like a sampler pack of Surly beers, some of which I'd had before, many of which I hadn't had. And this is one of the new ones. So I'm very excited about that. I'll talk about that in a little bit more in a second. But first, I want to say hi to everyone listening to the podcast version. Hope you're having a good run. And everyone watching this after the fact on YouTube, welcome. Good to have you here. And I want to give a special welcome to everyone here joining in live. Let's see who we have. So far, we've got Philip Bourne saying, hi, everyone. Good to see you again, Philip. Terrence, who he's stopping by briefly because he's got a work meeting at the same time. Don't they know not to? You should just block it off on your calendar, 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Central Time. You got to block it off. You're a bit. You have to mark it down as busy. That's how you get out of it. All right. And it says it's below freezing there in Nern. Did I say that right? Nern. I'm sure I'm butchering that. But he had a good 4-mile trail run with his dog Pip after work today. I saw the pictures. It looked like it was pretty dark too. Huh? But glad to see that you and Pip are back out there again. All right, Martha's here as well. Good to see you, Martha. And we got Chris Yao here. Awesome. Good crew today. Cody Wright says, yo, hope everyone's doing well. Good to see you, Cody. All right. Jason Dahl says, hey, I just realized I'm showing up to the live stream earlier and earlier. Glad to see I'm not the only one. Yeah, I get timestamps on these. This one is like at 2:55. Yeah, you guys are getting in there pretty early, but, glad to see you guys are there. Awesome. Martha said she had single-digit temps in the morning, but it's supposed to warm up into the 40s soon. Ooh, I hope it gets warmer. Here in Iowa, it was a lot warmer. Let's say that, like, relatively speaking. For my run today, we were in the mid-20s, and it wasn't windy, so that's still pretty cold, but a lot warmer than like the teens that we had yesterday. So I'm feeling good about it. And it's just really bizarre. I got to tell you, Martha, I'm sure you're experiencing the same thing. Like if you're trying to go out there for the single digit temperatures in the morning, you're just ready for like Arctic chill. And then like, if you go out with that same mentality, like that same day, you'll be like sweating outside. Cause that's what happened to me yesterday. So like my eyelashes froze, everything on my face kind of like got a little bit of frost on it by the time I was done with my run. And then later in the day, like at lunchtime, I feed the girls lunch and then we go out for recess, quote unquote. We just go outside and play with the dogs for like 20 minutes. And there's a swing set that my mother-in-law bought for the girls and we play out on the swing set. And I was just like head to toe, like as warm as I could be. And like the girls were like, I don't think I need gloves today, Dad. And I was like, oh yeah, you know what? You probably don't. I mean, it was like 35 degrees. So it was like a little bit above freezing, still chilly, but I was just thrown off for the rest of the day. All right. Jay Pelican says, good afternoon. And Chris McLean says, hey, everyone, it's been a while. Awesome. M. Bryosukaful. I always have such a hard time saying that one. Sorry about that. Mbiro Sukaful says, hit 1,400 miles for the year, hitting the Appalachian Trail starting in February. Can't wait. Awesome. Congratulations for that milestone for the year. Nicely done. Nicely done. We're getting towards the end of the year where people are putting together like their yearly mileage numbers, kind of figuring that out. And it's always pretty exciting for me to see that. All right. On that note, let's crack open this beer for today. Like I said, it's from Surly Brewing Company up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So to the neighbors to the north. Cheers, everybody. We made it to Thursday. This is really delicious. On the side, it's a Pilsner beer, and it says it's golden, crisp, and traditional. Wow, this is really good. This is amazingly good. It has like it's not fruity sweet, but there's like a fruit note to it that is really nice. It's not super carbonated, so it just goes down really smooth, dangerously smooth, I would venture to say. And it's a 5.2 alcohol content beer. This is, man, they said like on like the website, like the like the description of it is like it's like drinkable, crushable, whatever. Which I used to like that. That's a very like 2018 beer adjective. Maybe into 2019 as well, but like crushable just seems like a really dated like word to say now. But for this beer, it fits. Like yeah, I could drink these all day. Big fan, big fan. So as far as Surly goes, I visited the Surly Brewery with a couple of my buddies, one of whom had recently moved up to Minneapolis. And so we went to go visit him, and we toured a whole bunch of the breweries. Minneapolis has a vibrant brewing scene, by the way. And what I particularly enjoy about it, and it's very different from like drinking in Chicago, is that there's much more of a family atmosphere when you go to the breweries in Minneapolis. And it's also very different than the microbrewery scene here in Iowa, where it's still very much like a bunch of dudes that are going to brew like microbrews and the brewer houses in this area. In Minneapolis, the scene was awesome. Like I saw like just like a lot of families and couples hanging out, and like groups of couples and groups of families hanging out. And the brewery in Minneapolis for the Surly Brewing Company, just it's this gigantic open industrial space that's kind of refined and softened up with a lot of wood touches. I just love hanging out there. I don't know if we ever I would love to be able to somehow rent out that space for something. I don't know what I would ever need to rent out that space for, but it's a beautiful space. It kind of reminds me of like a ski lodge, but without any of that pesky skiing that you'd have to do. And it just kind of definitely has that vibe to it. Like a lot of glossy concrete, metal, but also like lots of like really nice natural warm woods. Beautiful place to hang out. And they make really great beers. Their Furious IPA is probably their best known, but this is really, really good. I had another one in that sampler pack that was like a fruity sour beer, mango something. That one, super good. I've been telling you guys, I like kind of like wheat-ish beers with a little bit of fruit to it. That one, very, very tasty as well. So continually just impressed with the Surly Brewing Company. I'm like, the only thing I don't like about them is that they're not like a Chicago brewery, because I'd love to be able to have them locally. That's the only thing. All right. Let me know, guys, if you've had any Surly beers. Remy says, at that brewery, was there a bunch full of car keys? Careful what you're walking into. No, it wasn't like that, but it was really fun. I mean, Minneapolis seems to really have embraced the brew pub or like public house kind of feel to it. So like the food there is really good, or like the gastro pub. I hate that term, but they're doing that really well, but not in as pretentious of a way. So it was just really nice, but it wasn't like sports bar-y either. Although like Minneapolis is a huge like college football town, but yeah. But yeah, it was really good, really good. All right, let's see. Oh, David Litstone says his video is now out. I looked for it this morning. I didn't see it, but his video is now out. Short one, but got a race video coming up soon. Also, love that running video with just the calm music. Cool, very cool, awesome, David. I'll go check it out after the live stream today. Ben Browning says it's Friday morning in Sydney. Well, I guess perfect time for a beer, maybe. I don't know. Maybe probably a little early for you, Tom, Ben. So sorry about that. All right. Frank says, when I would bike commute in the winter in Buffalo, it would take me a few minutes before I could see when I came into work, just waiting for my eyes to thaw out. Oh, I definitely know the feeling. Oh, yeah, that's a hard one. And you can't like speed it up. There's just no way. You just kind of have to like wait. Oh, Bryce Blankenfield, chilling in the beer in the Jabba Lives koozie and water in my Kafuzi mug. Wow, you doubled up. Nice. Good work. Awesome. Okay. Dr. Funk 1216 says, fun fact, Obama was the first beer brewer in chief. George Washington made whiskey also while in office. Wait, really? Obama like made beer at the White House? Did he really? And then, but the other thing is George also, he had a still. So he had the thing with like the coil, and like he was like cooking it. Like just seems weird. Would that technically be I guess they didn't have like prohibit like it wasn't illegal to still your own whiskey back when George Washington was president. Julian Gomez says, what's the best type of beer to have after a marathon? a free beer. That's the best kind to have after a marathon. I have had a wide variety. One of my favorite beers that I had after a race, I like them a little bit on the bitter side for after a race. I just feel like it goes down a little bit better. And so one times we had a Lagunitas, a little something something after a race. It was a race up at like it was a cold one though. It was a cold race, and it was I forget which one it was. It might have been like the Lakefront 10 miler, something like that, where it started and ended at the lakefront at the Montrose track up in Chicago by the Lakefront Path. But that was a really tasty beer to have after a race, after a hard run. But I've had everything from like a bitter IPA to like to Michelob Ultra after a race, and as long as it's free, it's all good. I like it all. G Holt 81 says, "How many beers would you have on average a week?" It changes. It's changed significantly over time. The more mileage I seem to run, the less beer I seem to drink. Just because it really does affect my sleep when I do that. Even just having like 2 a night could definitely affect my sleep enough that I would notice. And so I think that these days I probably have like maybe like these days like living in quarantine land in Iowa with my in-laws and like not seeing my friends and stuff. I maybe have 3 beers a week, 2 beers a week, not a lot. Like in the summertime in Chicago though, when it's like you're running a lot but you're seeing your friends a lot and there's like street festivals and all that stuff going on, it's probably closer to 10, 6, something like that, so it certainly varies contextually. So Shannon says, "Hey, Kofuzzy, my daughter's with me today." Awesome. She said, "I called you Kofuzzy," and she corrected me, Kofuzzy. I don't know who's right. Please help. It's Kofuzzy. Yeah, Fuzzy, like koozie or foosball. That's how I say it. But like I know, like if you put it into like if you have Siri say it, Siri always says it weird, and I think that when other people mispronounce it wrong, it's always exactly in the same way that Siri would pronounce it. So I think that's what people are doing. All right, let's go down a little bit. Someone was saying something about the Amsterdam Marathon. Let's see. But people loving the free beer. CV76, Dr. Vogue 1216, loving it. Jason Dale said, I can't find that other one, but I'll try and find it. Jason Dahl says, "My brother's a brewer at a local Chicago brewery. Their taproom went from the Bearded Flannel Brigade to family hangout spot. It was awesome to see the community embrace the space." That's awesome. The one place that I can think of that's very much like that has that kind of vibe that I personally could easily like if I would go there with my running buddy, well, he's divorced now, but back when they were married, I could easily see that like we could have gone, like his wife, my wife, all of our kids, and then any of our other friends that have kids too. Like I could easily see like we could have gone for a long run and then had our families meet us like at the brewery afterwards. It would be Old Irving Brewing Company. So that's one that's very much like that. They've got a lot of space. They've got like, what's that game called? Do you call it bags or do you call it cornhole? People call it different things. They got that game like inside. So there's room for like rambunctious kids to kind of like run around a little bit and not bug people too much. There's some TVs, not a ton, but like definitely just a hangout vibe. And the food there is pretty good. So that's one of the places that I really enjoy. I don't know where your brother works, Jason, but that's a place that I feel like the vibe was really nice. And that reminds me of kind of like what I saw a lot in Minneapolis, like at Surly, for example. I mean, there's certainly the places where you go there and like the super beer nerds go and you just like saddle up to the bar and you just sample stuff and you talk about, where the hops came from and all that. And that's awesome too. There's certainly places like that. But for me, my speed more is like kind of like, I don't know, is it weird to say a family oriented bar? Like that's kind of where I'm at. That's my life place right now. All right. Let's see. Ooh, Scott said, just cracked a Dogfish Head Slightly Mighty Low-Cal IPA. I don't think I've had that one. Interesting. Nice. Good choice. Ben Y said, I just realized I've had one drink in over a month. I need to get a life. Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't have very many more beers than I have with you guys on the internet. I'll have one occasionally, like with dinner, but yeah, I've been kind of like fighting a cold. I've been trying to get my knee better, so I've been trying to like, not go overboard with the drinking, just because I want to make sure my sleep is as productive as it could be, that kind of thing. But feeling a lot better, and so having much better beer in the house also makes a big difference. So like, by the way, I mentioned it, but my wife bought this stuff, so it didn't get sent to me. But I've certainly wanted to start sending me stuff. That'd be absolutely amazing. I'll talk about you guys all day long. Ben Browning says Zwifting and washing this. Cool. Awesome, Ben. And Phil Artman says, happy to see that Bid Rave named the Indy Mini the best half marathon in the country. The lap around the Indy Motor Speedway is such a cool feature of the course that I hope you all get to experience. Awesome. I didn't realize that. Oh, is Bib Rave, is that like a regional thing or is that a national thing? I've seen a lot of people. I mean, I guess a lot of people that I know that are like Bib Rave people tend to be like Midwesterners, but maybe that's just who I know. Is that like a nationwide thing? Does anyone know? Sean Doolin says, hey, Kofuzi, do you miss your spin bike now that it's getting colder out? I need to get back on it. We did bring it back. We brought it here. It's in the basement now. I just haven't hopped on it in a long time. And so like for the next couple of weeks, I think that the temperature is still going to be very runnable around here. But it's not going to be long before it's like, if I want to get in more than like 45 minutes of running or 45 minutes of activity, part of it's going to have to be on the bike. So I might do, I'm thinking, I'm not sure how I'm going to do it though. Cause like, if I hit the bike first, like when the sun is still not up, in the mornings, and, but then I'm going to be super sweaty by the time I go for my run. And I don't want to be sweaty before I hop outside and it's like 15 degrees out. So I'm not sure how I'm going to work that. But then I also don't want to run in like pitch black darkness all the time either. I don't mind starting in pitch black. Like today I started, it was just so dark. But I hate finishing the run and it's still being dark. That drives me kind of crazy. All right, let's scroll down. Let's see if we can find that thing about, someone said something about Amsterdam. Oh, Scotty B from Minnesota says, surely recommended. I will expect you to know. Furious, definitely a really good beer. And the Axeman. The Axeman is their best IPA. Is it really? I'm trying to think. I don't think I've had that one. I'm gonna have to look for that. James Baker says, evening all, love Brewdog Punk IPA. That's one I haven't tasted before either. There's always so many good options out there. Sean said, I did a terrible job hydrating yesterday. Had one whiskey last night and woke up with a blinding headache. Whoa, that's a lot. After just one whiskey. I wouldn't expect that. But yeah, I guess if you didn't really hydrate, that could do it. Oh, here's that Amsterdam thing. It says, Simon Evans says, after the Amsterdam Marathon, I was handed a free sample of German beer that marketed itself as recovery beer. Not sure how that works. Interesting. I mean, isn't all beer kind of like recovery beer? I forget who wrote. There was a book that came out about recovery for runners, and there was a chapter dedicated to beer and like the different sugars and minerals and all that stuff that are in there, are saying that it's supposed to be good for you. Also, since it relaxes you psychologically, it does a lot good things for you too. So I forget what book that was. I meant to read it, but I never got around to it. But I wonder what was in it that made it a recovery beer. I don't know. I thought with the beginning of that sentence, though, after the Amsterdam Marathon, I thought that was going a completely different direction. I didn't think it was going to end on beer. That's funny. John Frankfurt says, I don't drink alcohol at all and feel great about it. To me, it's a neurotoxin and a highly addictive drug. Am I weird now? No, you're not weird at all, Ron Frankfurt. There's a lot of people that don't drink it at all. I would say, like, when I'm training very hard, I definitely don't have any. So there'll be times where I'll refrain from it completely. But I mean, now I'm not training for a race or anything, so not too worried about it at this point. But I can certainly understand the position, and I don't think it's unfounded at all. Kurt Siege said, love the video this morning. Really awesome. I love it when you do this type of video. I think you really get the right mix of footage and music for those. Thanks for that. Well, thanks, Kurt. And I know a lot of you guys have been mentioning that today as well. And I really appreciate that, because like it's kind of difficult to make those. I mean, I really enjoy it. One, it's easy for me, like workflow. It takes about half the amount of time to make as like a regular video. But I also I find it really relaxing to make those. And I feel like I'm using more of like the creative part. It's less formulaic when I make those. So I do really enjoy making it, but consistently, like on YouTube, when you make videos, like it gives you like a little dashboard and it'll tell you how well your current video did out of your last 10 videos. And very consistently, when I make a video like this, it's usually like 10th, 9th. This one is actually up to 8th, which is a surprise. And so it does poorly. It affects my statistics negatively because they're only like 3 minutes long, maybe 2.5. And so it looks to YouTube like people aren't really interested because they're only watching for like 2 minutes and leaving. So like by all accounts, they're unsuccessful videos. But like when I look at the comments, the comments are usually pretty good. So I feel like of the people that watch it, they're really loving it. And it makes me think about like YouTube channels in general. And like within one channel, you can have multiple types of videos and they could speak to different, like kind of like segments of the audience that you might have. And so like when I do like a Peg 37 video, excuse me, the cold temperature of the beer kind of irritates my throat right now where I'm at, like in terms of like kicking this cold. When I do like a Peg 37 video, it generally attracts a lot of people who are not subscribers and who have maybe never seen a video of mine before. And so those get a lot of views. And as far as YouTube is concerned, I think it's very excited to see me make those videos. But I think that the people that like come to the live stream, the people that have been subscribed for a long time, the people that'll watch stuff, even if I'm reviewing something ridiculous like an air fryer, like those kinds of subscribers love those videos. And so I feel validated when I make those because I do really like it. Stephen Gerzer says, cold, have you been tested? I haven't been tested, but it's very consistent with like the sinus infections that I tend to get right when the season gets really cold. So like I get like a cold right away and then I'm sick for like a couple days. And then like the sinus infection part takes like weeks to like correct itself. And when I talk a lot, like on the live stream, or when I have something very cold, like ice cream or a very cold drink, it just makes me cough a little bit. So that's what's going on. I check my SpO2, heart rate variability, take my temperature. We got one of those clicky gun, the laser gun. So everything else is fine. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. Chris says, Pack 37s are the moneymaker. Food and poop are the real fans. I think that's a very succinct way of saying it. It took me like 2 minutes to say it. Chris, you got it. You got it down. Nice. All right. Yeah, Kurt says, I think it's possible that the video this morning may be the subscribers and the folks on here that come to the live stream. Yep. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, exactly. All right. Caleb Efford says, is the Stride Pod worth it? I would say yes. I'd say for some people it might not, because these days Koros does a really good job with wrist-based power. So if all you're looking for is just to get a power number, Stride Pod maybe not worth it anymore. Not in 2020, late 2020. But I also think that Stride does a really good job telling you how to use those power numbers well in terms of calculating your critical power and helping you establish like threshold zones. It's race calculator telling you what wattage you should run for different race distances. All that, I think, sets it apart from what Chorus and Polar are able to do. Both Chorus and Polar can give you wrist-based power, but all they can do is give you a number. They don't tell you how to use it, which I feel like that's probably coming in the next year or two, but it's not there yet. The other thing that I like about the Chorus foot pod that I don't think that, not Chorus foot pod, the Stride foot pod that Chorus and Polar can't do is that the foot pod gives me a GPS independent pace and distance number. And for me, when I ran in the city, I'm not in the city now, I'm in rural Iowa right now, but back home in Chicago, any GPS is always off just because there's skyscrapers and it messes up with my readings. And so like I needed the Stride foot pod just for pace and distance. And so if that's your situation, then it's definitely worth it for that reason alone. But then there's also the training benefit from it. So that's why I like it. All right, Sean Marshall said, did you guys see the new Clifton colors? I didn't see. Ooh, interesting. Jana says, I found you through your Pack 37 review, but enjoy your videos in general, and your streams are just the best. Awesome, Jana. Great. See, I mean, that's the goal. That's like, I mean, a big reason why I like to make, I mean, I love the Pegasus. That's always been my favorite kind of franchise. But a big reason to make those is, one, hopefully you attract new viewers. Some of them just might watch that one video and never watch another video again, but you hope that you can retain some percentage of that and turn them into regular viewers. So awesome. I'm glad that worked out. And I've been seeing you a lot lately in the live stream, so glad to have you here. And Rainrunner says, I just sent my sister discounted Clifton 6s for her birthday / Christmas. The last available size on Running Warehouse was hers. Awesome. Hope she likes them. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Very nice. Very nice. I find myself like wanting to give everyone gifts of running shoes. And I'm like, is that really narcissistic of me? Because I'm like, nah, I'm really into like running shoes now. So I'll give you something that I'm really into. But, I feel like, when I'm doing it, I'm like, they're running or they've talked about wanting to run more and stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. All right. Donovan Lessard says, why, hello, everyone. What's going on, Donovan? All right. Kurt says, the Garmin Power Through the Dynamics pod has numbers that are very different than things like Stride pod. I've tried to buy because Garmin has a foot pod, but I think it only works with Garmin watches, or maybe you have to have like Ant Plus or something on that. But for a while, they weren't selling it at all. I don't even know if they're still selling it. But now you can get power on a Garmin through the chest strap somehow. I'm not sure how that works. But that's something that I've been like kind of curious about to see like what else it does. I was actually just thinking about it today. I was like, do I want the 945 or do I want to get, I'm thinking about getting an old like Phoenix 5 and just because they're super cheap on Amazon. So I was thinking about like getting a Phoenix 5. Maybe I'll wait till 2021 to get it. Like I bought a Phoenix 5 in 2021. So I don't know. We'll see. And if I do, then I'll probably get either the chest strap that gives you the power or the other running dynamic numbers that it is. All right. Kiefer says, get the 945. Oh, really? Okay. Ron Andre says, oh, well, I always buy running shoes for my family. I try to make them run with me. There we go. Doesn't work though. But, I think part of the gift is not only are you getting them something, but you're giving them the gift of your time, because then we'll run together. I like that. And it says, as long as the shoes that I'm giving are not size 9 shoes with 100 miles on. No, I would get them in their size. I would get them, something that I would think would work for them. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. And then Caleb says, the Phoenix 5 sucks at pace and distance. It does? Oh, all right. Oh, and they said that's part of the reason I asked about Stride. Okay. Well, I'll have to take a. I'll definitely rethink it then. But you know what's happened? Interesting happened, which I suspected would, and why I'm like now kicking myself for not having bought the 945 when I could have. When the new like 745 came out, is that right? So like the 745 and the 945 on Amazon, they were only different in price by like $5. Like the 745 was like I guess $10, 495, and then like the 945 was like 505. I looked at it today and it's 58, back up to 580. So I was like, I should have bought it when I could have. So that's a bummer. And Ben Browning says Garmin is still Ant Plus. I don't think so, but I think that I'm not positive on that. But I think the foot pod that they used to make, it was like only $50. I think that foot pod was only Ant Plus. But I think Garmin now are Ant Plus and Bluetooth. They have both, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not as familiar with Garmin's. But that's, my whole point is I need to become more familiar. But Run Frankfurt says the S745 XT is an awesome watch. All right. Lots of votes. Awesome. Daniel M., you okay, man? What's going on? I don't understand what's going on here. Lots of what seems like lyrics. Interesting. Jason Dahl, though, saying he's a Phoenix 5 fan. Nothing to compare pace and distance accuracy to. I just assume it's accurate. Okay. I don't know. I might have to get both. I don't want to spend that much money on watches, but it could be worthwhile. Yeah. William Bolduck says, it looks like everybody's going with Koros. Why don't you buy one? I looked at the Koros Apex right around the same time that the Pace 2 came out. I really enjoyed the Apex. It's a phenomenal watch for the price. I think it delivers quite a bit. And it got the firmware update to do wrist-based power. And they've done something to it so that way the Koros watches pick up their own level of power, but they've been working with Stride, which I think is a mistake from Stride. But Stride is working with them and told them like, hey, here's how you can like add an extra formula onto the data results you're getting from your power numbers from your Koros watches, and it'll look very similar to Stride power numbers. So like you can actually switch relatively seamlessly from like another watch that's using the Stride foot pod to just a Koros watch and no Stride foot pod. You lose some of those training benefits that I was talking about and the data analysis that Stride does, which again I said is the key part. But yeah, so Koros is interesting, and they just picked up Kipchoge. So like I just feel like, all right, everyone else go home for a couple of years. Koros got Kipchoge, so like I don't know. I think I talk about him every day. I mean, you know what I need to do? I just need to go up to Minneapolis. I need to have like a run, go to the Surly Brewery, and invite Ben Johnson because I talk about him every day. But he posted a picture of like they made a I don't know if he called it the Kipchoge White Pace 2 or if Koros is calling it that. If Koros isn't calling it that, they should call it that. But there's some pictures of Kipchoge running in like a white Koros watch, and it's the White Pace 2. And I've never wanted a white watch before. Now I want a white watch. Yeah. So. All right. Neat Penguin says, speaking of running watches, what's the best running watch that doesn't require an account? All data stored locally on PC. Is there such a thing? Oh, I don't think that there is one of those anymore. I'll tell you what's the opposite of the best running watch that doesn't require an account. I reviewed the TicWatch Pro, TicWatch Pro 3 from Mobvoi. That I had to sign up for like multiple levels of account to even just use it like kind of regularly. So I'm not sure that there is a watch that doesn't require an account anymore. I'm trying to think. Like if you could just store all the data locally. Yeah, I don't think that exists. I'm not sure. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that exists anymore. Joshua Beal says, what tips for getting up early and running instead of putting off till later in the day? Tips would be, I don't really have any tips, but here's my thoughts on it is that I treat my running like a surgeon treats surgeries. You stack your most important things in the earlier part of the day to the extent that you have control over your schedule, right? So like the surgeon always puts their most difficult surgeries first because that's when they're the freshest. At least that's my understanding of how surgeons work. I don't really know any. I used to know a lot of surgeons. Now I don't know surgeons anymore. But so you just do that. So like kind of like pay yourself first kind of idea. For me, if I put my runoff to the end of the day, I know that I won't do it. And so like the way that I thought of it, it was now or never. Right. So maybe that's my tip. Treat it like now or never. And then if you can't do it, but you can't do it in the morning and then suddenly get a chance to run like in the afternoon, something like, a hole opened up in your schedule and you get out there for a run, then it's a bonus, but I wouldn't count on it. So I would kind of treat it like that, now or never. Buddha Bone says, but Cheptegei uses Garmin Forerunner. He isn't partner though. Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting. I feel like that's a missed opportunity for a lot of those runners if they don't have like sponsorship deals. Cause I think the fact that Nike no longer has they have like the Apple Watch, like Nike Edition, like they have those. But since like Nike stopped making watches several years ago, like I feel like that opens the door for a lot of athletes to have like another level of or another avenue of income, but a different sponsorship. I'm not sure how the contracts work exactly, if it's how exclusive it is, but I feel like that's something they all got to get on. I mean, maybe Garmin and Polar, and I know they have like some sponsored athletes. It's not anywhere near the level of like a shoe company deal. I would imagine. I don't know. I have no way of knowing, but yeah, I just feel like that should be like a more prominent thing. Why isn't it? Tony, you said, if Elliot ran with a Rolex Submariner, would you want one too? That would probably be beyond it. But if the next GQ interview of Elliot Kipchoge came out and he goes, you know what I love? I love the Casio G-Shock. I'd be like, I don't know. Casey Neistat, Elliot Kipchoge, both love the Casio G-Shock. It's worth looking into. I think that's more how I feel about it. A Rolex, I'm assuming a Submariner is an extra expensive line within the Rolex brand. I don't know. But yeah. I mean, at what point do we have like a preacher sneaker? What's that? What's the Instagram account? Sneaker Preacher Sneakers. Do you guys follow that? It's the account that follows all these like very large church pastors and ministers, and it takes screenshots of their sermons, and it shows like, oh look, they're wearing like Jordan Breads, $3,000 shoes. There's one that's about watches too now, just watches. So like there's I don't know if it's the same guy doing the account, but do we start doing that for runners now too? But I mean, they're runners. It's still a little different. All right. Let's see. Kurt says, the pod also allows you to get the Garmin power info, but what I find odd, I'll have to check out how they calculate versus others. The Garmin number always seems to be double others, but it's all relative. Yeah, I mean, that's the weird thing about power. I just wish they wouldn't put the W at the end of it, like the watts, because then it makes it seem like it should be comparable across devices. And my experience is, don't try comparing them across devices. Just know that what I tend to find is let's say I'm running at 235 watts on the Stride FootPod, that might very well be 380 watts on the Polar. But if I ran 50 watts harder, like my mile pace on the Stride FootPod, it would only be 50 watts higher on the Polar. So it's just it's off by a constant. That's what it seems like to me. Let's see. Bryce Blankenfield said, I regret getting a GPS watch. In high school and college, I ran with a Timex, and it made things easier. I can't go back now, though. That's funny, though. But if you regret it that much, just get rid of it. Just lose it. What's funny is every time I make a video about a watch or a heart rate monitor, foot pod, anything like that, I always get I get it most when I make videos about maffetone training. When people are like, you're overcomplicating it, which a very fair argument. And I definitely overcomplicate things. But like the comment is generally along the lines of, you're overcomplicating it. Just go out there and run. Just run by feel, run easy. And then you'll be running easy. I'm like, yeah, but you missed like the overall underlying premise. What I think is easy is my body, like metric wise, is not easy. So there's something wrong and I need to fix it. Or like with GPS watches, I know I could just go out there and like map my stuff afterwards, but I like having the data. I like the data. I like having it done automatically. It uploads. I could see it really quickly. So like there's things that I just really enjoy about it. And then yesterday's video, which was about like the heated gloves, there was a couple of people that were like doing the same thing, but about gloves. They're like, you're overcomplicating it. Just run out there with mittens. And I was like, I think you guys missed the point, So there's definitely some of that too. I overcomplicate things. I love to overcomplicate things. I take some enjoyment out of it, but I understand the point though. Like these days, I'm covering up the watch when I run a lot and on my easy runs, and it is liberating in a lot of ways too. So I understand both sides. Sean Marshall said, "Do you ever think about doing a March Madness bracket for running shoes? Should we do that this year?" That's an interesting idea. I could do it kind of like MKBHD does, like the phone photographs, where there's like the bracket. I can't think of 64. I could probably think of 64 shoes. Can we think of 64 shoes? Yeah, we could do it. Let's do it. We'll do that. Okay. Yeah, we're going to do it. You know what I'll do it? I'll put it in the Strava Run Club. I haven't done anything for them yet, so we'll put it there. March Madness starts in March, clearly, but Sean, you might have to remind me of that as we're getting near, because otherwise I just don't pay attention to college basketball anymore. So yeah, you'll have to remind me. But that's a good idea. I like that. James Aylmer says, I have a friend who was a pro jockey. 4 a.m. start every morning, so he put an alarm clock out of reach so he'd get out of bed to turn it off. That's as far as getting up early, that really worked well for me. It becomes harder when you have, like in college when I had roommates, that was particularly bothersome to them. But also it was more motivating because I was like, oh, I better hurry up and get out of bed and hit that button so I don't wake everyone else in the room up. Yeah, but that's definitely a way to do it, because then you're already out of the bed. And then it's not a matter of like waking up to get out of bed. It's just fighting the urge to jump back into bed. But yeah. Kurt C says, I could do it sooner. Don't have to wait until March. Well, you know what? Maybe should we do a December one, a 2020? We'll just do a 2020 shoes. Maybe we'll start with 32. So it's not so like March Madness-y. We'll just do like 4 brackets of shoes, and we'll do it in December, and then we'll have it end with the shoe of the year discussion. There we go. There you go, Kurt. I like the way you're thinking. Nice. Sean Marshall says, like, I'll add it to the list of things to remind Capuzzi of. It's written down under the espresso shots every quarter mile. That's funny. Yeah, Sean, I think we're gonna go follow Kurt's suggestion and do it not in March. We'll do it earlier. We'll do it at the end of this year. So we'll do that, but we'll still do it in the Strava group. So we'll do it over there. Lewis says, better save some money because I think I'm going to buy more shoes because of that bracket. Maybe. Yeah, Kiefer says Christmas shoe cage match. I love it. Nice. All right. Yeah, I James Taylor said an advent calendar style regarding the shoes. That's funny. My wife bought advent calendars for the girls, but we don't do regular advent calendars because a lot of last year Trader Joe's had one that was safe for kids with peanut allergies, so we actually bought those. But this year, my wife decided to get ones that were not food related. So my daughter has one that's a Harry Potter Lego advent calendar. And I don't know if it's called an advent calendar or not. I'm trying to think of where is it. I think it's downstairs. And then the baby, the 4-year-old, has one that is City Lego. City Lego advent calendar. Every day when they wake up, I think that's the first thing that they say, that they think of. They're like, did I get number 3? Because like today was December 3rd. So like this is like my impression of the kids when they wake up. Number 3. Like as soon as their eyes opened up, they were like, "Oh yeah, it's another day." So they were pretty excited about it. But I don't know if we could do that. An advent calendar of shoes. Now my mind's racing. I don't know. I've that's an idea. I think it's. I mean, we're already 4 days in, almost 4 days into December now, but like maybe next month we're gonna have to do like, I don't know. I'm thinking like Price is Right. You punch the thing and then you pull out something inside. Like if you could punch like a piece of paper that has like a number, you punch it and then you pull out a shoe. I don't know. I think that's what Seth should do. I'm going to tell Seth. He should do for this next share our shoes thing. Instead of, because like sometimes he has like the pile of shoes that he gives away. And he's like, all right, well, we'll do this one next. I think it should just be like, all right, here's what shoe we're doing next. And pull a shoe out and be like, oh, look, an Evo ride, I think that'd be great. It's kind of like mixing Price is Right, advent calendar, and Seth's shoe giveaway. Like that, I don't know. That's compelling television. I'd watch that for sure. Yeah. All right. And then Tony says soon you'll be able to do a March Madness brackets for massages. I hope not. I've reviewed 4. I'm just starting to review my 5th one now, and I think I'm good for a while. I've already started saying no to like 4 or 5 other people. I was like, maybe in like a year I can do it, but not right now. Which I'm like, frankly, I don't know if some of these brands will be around in a year. The ones that are asking me, not the ones that I've reviewed, but like these other ones, I'm just like, maybe ask me later, but like not now. I just did too many, so like I'm gonna do one more, and then we'll do the wrap up video, and then that's it for the massage guns. But yeah, all right, last one we'll do, and then I gotta get going for today. Ronald Ray says, how does Strava groups work? I just use Strava for myself, but I know it can be used as a social platform. Yeah, I mean, you can like give kudos to things and and comment on people's activities, and that's how I've been trying to spend more time on Strava, because I feel like that's where everyone is. I mean, Instagram is fun, but like you get a mix of runners and not runners seeing your stuff on Instagram. On Strava, that's where runners are, and triathletes and cyclists and swimmers. But like that's where I feel like everyone is, so I need to spend more time there. But Strava groups are stuff that you can sign up for free, and then it's kind of like a Facebook group, but for Strava. And so in that Strava group, you can create posts and upload pictures and stuff like that, and do that there. And then there's like leaderboards. I've had one for a while, and it's not a compelling place to be. And I'm trying to figure out ways to make it more interesting. So I think that this could be a lot of fun. So we'll start doing that. We'll get it ready, and I'll have to start making the bracket of it together. You guys are going to be reading a lot of my handwriting, I think. So get ready for that. I have terrible handwriting, so you guys asked for it, basically. So we'll start doing that soon. I'm going to start working on it. Maybe not tonight. I got some videos I got to make today. That I think are going to take a lot of time already. But maybe over the weekend I'll start it. So I think maybe early next week we'll start unloading that and do that. All right. So tomorrow's video, speaking of videos, I'm going to put out top 5 speed shoes. Now, I talked about it yesterday. I wanted to do the Max Cushion video this week, but I only got the Torn 4.5 today. I haven't run in them yet, and I want to test those out first before I make that Max Cushion video. The 4.5 fits in. It has the word plush in the name, so it's got to be a Max Cushion shoe. So we'll test it out either way, see how it goes. But because I still want to test that one out, we're going to do the top 5 speed shoes of the year. And that's going to be, I think, the most interesting of all the videos. Maybe the racer video will be more interesting because there's more flagship shoes in there. But I think the speed one, for me, it's a much tighter competition in that one. So that one's going to be really tight. That'll be a fun one. So check that out tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow afternoon, we'll do another live stream. All right. 3 p.m. Central, same time, same place here on YouTube. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Stay safe out there, everybody.